If you ever feel out of control around food, you're not alone, and you're in the right place to learn practical, no-nonsense information about why you binge and how to stop. Binge eating does not mean that something is wrong with you. It's a natural but primitive brain response that you can correct. If you're ready for change, sign up for the Brain Over Binge self-paced online course for less than $20 per month. And if you feel you need personalized support, we also offer one-on-one coaching and group coaching. To learn more, go to brainoverbinge.com/subscribe. And I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to the Brain Over Binge podcast, where you learn a simple, brain-based approach to ending binge eating. I'm Katherine Hansen, your host, and I want to welcome you to the show today. This episode will benefit you if you're someone who struggles with thinking about food too much, even when you're not having urges to binge. You're definitely not alone in this, and today I'm going to share something that I hope will support you in dealing with what may often seem like incessant thoughts about eating. I'm going to play a part of one of the Q&A tracks from the Brain Over Binge course, and in this particular clip, I offer you 4 suggestions to overcome intrusive and frequent food thoughts. I hope you find these 4 suggestions helpful. My first suggestion is to set the proper expectations. Even when you bring your food thoughts down to a normal level, you should still expect to have food thoughts. Normal eaters enjoy eating. They look forward to eating. They certainly may have thoughts that pop into their head while they're working or doing other things about what they're going to eat next. They'll probably look forward to their lunch break or look forward to getting home for dinner. Normal eaters also have feelings of desire surface when they have these food thoughts. They may think about how delicious something is going to be. They'll definitely look forward to eating a great dessert. If their favorite food is around at a party, they may be thinking about it more than they would like to. These examples are just to show you that you do not need to label all of your food thoughts as problematic. It's normal to have a desire for food and thoughts about food. But I want that to have its proper place in your life and not feel like it's taking over your mind. You'll want to get to a place where your thoughts about food feel more fleeting and less incessant. You're certainly capable of bringing your food thoughts down to a level that feels much healthier to you, but make sure you're not expecting them to go away completely. My second suggestion for refocusing your attention is to notice when you're not thinking about food. I know it can sometimes feel that you're thinking about food all of the time, but I know that there are moments in the day when you're not thinking about it. There are times when you're focusing fully on your work or on something else in your life. I want you to notice that and see that your brain does have the capacity to go in other directions. Now, I realize that looking for those moments that you're not thinking about food and then possibly saying, wow, this is great, I'm not thinking about food right now, can possibly have the unintended effect of making you then think about food. So try to do this in a way that you're just observing your mind in a relaxed way instead of constantly judging whether or not you're thinking about food in that particular moment. My third suggestion is to notice when your mind wanders onto other things that are not food, and then realize that the food thoughts don't have to have so much significance. And I'm going to explain what I mean by this. Right now, you may be thinking that when your mind wanders, food is the only thing that it's turning to. But when you step back and observe your mind, you'll notice that you have wandering thoughts of other things as well. But the difference is that you don't take those other thoughts so seriously. You likely don't get mad at those other thoughts that your mind is creating. You don't criticize yourself for having those thoughts. You don't think those other thoughts mean that you're diseased or damaged. You just let those thoughts come and go. Try to view your food thoughts as just one type of countless thoughts that run through your head during the day. When you view the food thoughts just like any other thought, you'll see that you can have the food thoughts running through your head and still do what you need to do in your life. Because that's exactly what you do when you're experiencing other types of thoughts. My last suggestion for redirecting your attention is to simply refocus, refocus, refocus. When you notice the food thoughts, you can redirect your attention back to the present moment and focus on whatever you're doing or whatever you want to focus on. You may need to refocus a lot at first, but it will get easier over time. You could compare this to a meditation practice. When you do a meditation practice, your mind naturally wanders, and then you bring your attention back to a focal point or a mantra. And when you first start a meditation practice, you may need to refocus your attention on the mantra or on the focal point hundreds of times, even within just a minute. But it gets easier over time, and your brain starts to stay more and more focused on what you want to be focusing on. It's the same with the food thoughts. You may need to bring your attention back from the food thoughts onto something else many, many times before it starts to become more effortless and the food thoughts start appearing less and less. Your brain learns that the thoughts you focus attention on are the ones that are important to you, and will keep producing those thoughts over and over. But when you stop focusing attention on certain thoughts, the brain will learn that those thoughts have less significance to you, and the food thoughts will stop being so intrusive in your life. One last thing I want to mention here is that if you are struggling with incessant food thoughts, just make sure that you are eating enough food. Everything I've said here assumes that the problem does not lie in current restriction. If you are restricting and you start nourishing yourself well, you'll likely find that a lot of these food thoughts simply go away on their own. I hope you learned something that allows you to feel more powerful than your thoughts about food. If you want more ideas and answers to questions you have as you stop binge eating, you can subscribe to the course for only $10.99 per month, and right away you'll get 117 tracks to guide you, plus I'm adding a new Q&A track every month. I'll be adding the newest one tomorrow, January 26th, and the title of that new Q&A track will be Who Am I Without the Eating Disorder? The course also now includes a new app to make listening on mobile just as simple as listening to a podcast. You can learn more at brainoverbinge.com/subscribe. Thank you so much for being here today. As always, I want to encourage you and remind you that you have the power to change your brain and live a binge-free life. The Brain Over Binge podcast is produced and recorded by Brain Over Binge Recovery Coaching, LLC. All work is copyrighted by Brain Over Binge Recovery Coaching, LLC, and all rights are reserved. As a disclaimer, the hosts of the Brain Over Binge podcast are not professional counselors or licensed healthcare providers, and this podcast is not a substitute for medical advice or any form of professional therapy. Eating disorders can have serious health consequences, and you are strongly advised to seek medical attention for matters relating to your health. Please get help when you need it, and good luck on your journey. Need more help? You can find all of our current and upcoming options for support at brainoverbinge.com.